Welcome to the Explainer. So today we're diving into something I guarantee every single one of you has experienced firsthand. We're going to explore why the universe just always seems to be plotting against you. But more importantly, we're unpacking the actual science behind that feeling. Yep, we are breaking down the fascinating, hard reality behind our so-called bad luck.
We've got to start off with a question we've all undoubtedly asked ourselves when faced with a sudden, frustrating stroke of bad luck. You know the feeling, right? You're standing there, looking up at the sky, just wondering, why does the universe hate me? It feels so intensely personal, doesn't it? Almost like there's this invisible force out there completely dedicated to making your day just a little bit more difficult.
Section 1. Meet Murphy's Law. Let's look at the famous adage that perfectly captures this whole feeling of universal sabotage.
I'm of course talking about Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. It was actually named after an aerospace engineer, Edward Murphy, back in the 1940s. And, it's really important to note right off the bat that he wasn't talking about fate or some cosmic curse. For an engineer dealing with insanely complex systems, this was just a practical, real-world reminder to always expect the unexpected.
Section 2. When things go wrong. Let's dive right into some highly relatable scenarios that prove unexpected problems are just a normal part of everyday life.
Just picture this. Imagine you're rushing out the door, already running way late for an appointment. You fight through the traffic, you finally get there, you step up to the counter, reach into your pocket, and boom, you realize you left your wallet sitting on the kitchen counter. Absolute classic Murphy's Law.
Or, how about this one? You spend hours meticulously crafting this massive, important presentation. The data is perfectly aligned, the design is literally flawless, and right before you move your mouse to hit save, you get it. The dreaded blue screen of death. Your laptop just completely crashes, and all that hard work is gone in an instant.
And then we have the everyday ironies. Like when you finally take the time to wash your car. It's been dusty for weeks, right? You scrub it down until it absolutely shines, only for the skies to just open up and pour rain the very next morning.
Or, imagine you're at the supermarket. You do that quick mental math of which checkout line is moving the fastest, you confidently commit to one, and somehow, you manage to pick the absolute longest, slowest line in the entire store. Suddenly, the person in front of you needs a price check on like a single lemon. Here's another incredibly common one. Your phone battery holds a charge all day long while it's just sitting idle on your desk. But the exact split second you get stranded or you really need to make a time-sensitive call, totally dead. 0%. No way. And this next one brilliantly illustrates the absolute classic student nightmare. You prepare for weeks. You diligently study every single chapter except for that one obscure section you figured just won't matter. Well, you sit down, you turn over the paper, and guess what? That exact unstudied chapter is the main focus of the entire exam.
Section 3. The Science of Negativity Bias. Now, what's really fascinating here is that none of those everyday examples actually prove Murphy's Law is a real scientific reality.
To really understand what's going on, we have to kind of shift our perspective. We need to contrast actual laws of physics with what this phenomenon really is. See, gravity is a law of physics. Murphy's Law? Not so much. It's actually a psychological observation about our own brains. The universe isn't somehow changing its physical properties just to annoy you. Rather, your brain is playing a massive trick on your perception. So the absolutely crucial point here is understanding negativity bias. This right here is the real science behind Murphy's Law. Negativity bias is this cognitive quirk where our brains naturally remember negative events far more strongly than positive ones. Scientifically speaking, this is an old evolutionary survival mechanism. Your brain's threat detection center literally hardwires negative experiences, like, say, remembering exactly where a dangerous predator lives, much deeper into your memory just to keep you alive. Fast forward to today, and that exact same survival wiring just makes us incredibly frustrated at the grocery store.
To really put into perspective how powerful this bias is, let's look at this number, 100. We often completely and totally forget the hundreds of times everything went perfectly smoothly. Think about all the times you actually got in the fast checkout line, or your laptop worked perfectly, or you did remember your wallet. Your brain just discards those memories because, they don't register as a threat.
But look at this number, 1. We vividly, clearly, and sometimes painfully remember the one single time everything went terribly wrong. That one catastrophic laptop crash will totally overshadow 100 successful, boring saves. Negativity bias basically tricks us into thinking bad things happen way more often than they actually do, just because the memory of the bad event is so much louder in our minds.
So when you combine the absolute inevitability of complex systems having random hiccups with our brain's hardwired negativity bias, you get the illusion of a hostile universe. But Murphy's Law doesn't mean fate is somehow out to get you. It simply reminds us that unexpected events do happen, and our brains just hyper-focus on them. The universe is actually completely neutral.
Section 4. The Power of Preparation. Let's see how this all builds into an actionable, really empowering lesson.
Once we understand that Murphy's Law is basically a psychological quirk highlighting the inevitability of unexpected events, we can outsmart it. The real message isn't to be a pessimist, but to proactively prepare. Always have a backup plan. Save your work frequently. Seriously, just set up autosave right now. Double-check important details before you step out the door. By preparing for possible mistakes before they even happen, you effectively neutralize Murphy's Law entirely.
And this isn't just nice theoretical advice. It's literally how the highest stakes industries on Earth operate. Successful engineers, pilots, doctors, business leaders, they all follow this exact principle. They don't expect failure because they're negative people. They meticulously prepare for it so that when something inevitably goes wrong, it's just a minor speed bump, not some total catastrophic disaster. So the next time something goes wrong, don't panic. Remember the science of your own negativity bias. Don't ask, why did this happen to me, because that just implies you're a victim of a hostile universe. Instead, flip it. Ask yourself, how can I prevent this from happening again? By expecting the unexpected, we take away its power. Which actually leaves us with a pretty fascinating thought. If our brains are biologically wired to obsess over that one single failure, how much of our own potential are we missing out on by completely forgetting our hundreds of successes?